put us together. We're like the modern day De Niro and Pacino. You can be whichever you want. You can be the De Niro or Pacino. Fauci and Cuomo. I'll give you a front. Who do you want to be, De Niro or Pacino? Which one do you want to be?
I love them both. I love them both. I don't want to insult one or the other. If I say one, I don't want to hurt the feelings of the other.
Yeah.
So either one.
Who's the politician?
Who's the politician? Crooked ass mobster right there, y'all. Which one you want to be? You want to be De Niro or Pacino? I don't know. You take a pick. That's your governor, New York. And to the rest of you, your savior that you've been worshiping for the last year, who is basically Donald Trump's equal on the left, if you think about their personality and who they are. They're straight out of some sort of old school sitcom, both of them. But a lot of news out recently about Andrew Cuomo. And when I say recently, I mean as of like July of last year. Okay. We've been talking about this for a good 7 months, guys. I know you guys didn't want to listen to any of that stuff. You know, none of it mattered back then. One of the benefits to Donald Trump not winning, you'll find that there's news stories, there's breaking news that are, and journalists accidentally journalisming all over the place suddenly. Well, why is that? Well, it's because you don't have the scapegoat in office any longer, right? You don't have the straw man up there any longer to be able to attack on a daily basis for your news process. So now, what do? Well, now you might start having to do some journalisming. You might have to start doing it. Okay. I'm sorry. And now their bosses have flipped the script. And as I predicted, they'll just start breaking news that they were unwilling to talk about over the last year. I mean, I know the Hunter Biden thing has calmed down now, but you got immediately after the election, the Hunter Biden story is magically true. Everyone, we've been telling you all this time that these were conspiracy theories by the kooky right, but no, all along it was true, as we said. Just like with Andrew Cuomo, also was very true. Now news can start to flow on a more normal basis, and these leftist leaning news networks might be a little bit more willing. These huge newspapers, these traditional leftist newspapers, are going to be a little bit more willing to expose people on their own side for the things that they've done over the last year. And they're in a very tough position right now. It's undefensible what they're trying to do. Okay. There's so many positions they're trying to take on both sides that if anyone just puts a little bit of exposure into it, immediately you can see right through the lies, okay, and what they've been doing and the crookedness, the shadiness of all the things they've been doing over the last year. So as you can see, this story is from July of last year. This is something I was talking about at the time. You might have ignored it, but it was a big story back then. Okay, we knew at the time that this was going on, and all of a sudden, no, it's just like this is breaking news. No, we've been talking about this for a half a year. Okay, so I'm going to read through a couple of these stories, these headlines real quick, and get into the basics of it so I can keep you up to date, keep you up to speed, get you up to speed to where with what's all been going on here. As you can see, Governor Cuomo can't pass the buck on his deadly mistakes back in July 8th of 2020. Washington, D.C., 6,326. That's the number of COVID positive patients that went back into more than 300 nursing homes throughout New York, putting some of our nation's most vulnerable at even greater risk. Governor Andrew Cuomo's March 25th executive order forced sick patients into nursing homes despite guidance issued on March 13th, 2 weeks earlier, from Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, advising not to readmit COVID-19 positive patients back into these facilities unless the facilities had certain protections and protocols in place to protect and treat their residents. This executive order that Andrew Cuomo signed, ordered COVID infected patients back into the nursing homes of New York State. Not only did they made them accept these patients. I remember talking about it at the time. They made them accept these patients without allowing them to even test to see if these patients were positive or not. So as patients were being discharged from the hospital, let's say they went in for whatever reason, found out they had COVID, we have to discharge them out of this hospital and send them into a nursing home where the most vulnerable people are all around, right? And in New York, you can imagine the disastrous looking nursing homes they were sticking these people into. Probably filled 3 and 4 patients into a 2-person room in a lot of those places. I would bet you. So a lot of these nursing homes tried to fight against it, and they said, "You cannot force these people upon us like this. What are you doing?" He said, "You have to take them. You cannot ask them if they're COVID positive or not, and you cannot test them for the disease." Okay, he explained it at the time as it being that a lot of these deaths coming, because we all know the disaster that New York was when it comes to this, the most deaths out of any state when it comes to any metric. So his excuse was that it was the staff going into these places infecting these patients. Well, it's possible there probably was some of that also. But I have a feeling that a bigger problem was you sending COVID infected patients, forcing them upon nursing homes that do not have these facilities with certain protections and protocols in place to protect and treat residents of this nature. Okay, so he forced them to take them in. Well, we now know that he lied about how bad it really was. What was Governor Cuomo's response to criticism to nursing home deaths in his state? Releasing a report that his administration put together, blaming nursing home workers for it. Governor Andrew Cuomo's administration has taken intense criticism over the policy, instead contended the virus's rampant spread through the state's nursing homes was propelled by more than 20,000 infected home staffers, reported the AP. Back then, Democrat senators all came to the rescue for the governor and defended him and his decisions. He wrote an executive order forcing this to happen, right? What was the big thing in New York that Donald Trump did to help them be able to cope with this situation? What was the one big thing they did in both New York and LA for that matter? Right. They sent a huge medical naval ship into the harbor and parked it right in downtown Manhattan so that they could assist in taking in these patients. How much did they use it? One patient on a huge naval ship that cost millions of dollars to move to that area. Wasted your and I's money again. Moving this huge ship there, parked it in New York in Manhattan, right in the harbor there, so that they could take these patients to the ship and keep them on there in a safe, protected manner. He refused. Do you know why he refused? Guess why Andrew Cuomo decided to not send any of those patients to those places? Ego. His ego is just as big as Donald Trump's. He was not going to allow any positive news to go to Donald Trump. And for that, innocent people died. People's grandmothers died alone in nursing homes where people were not allowed to go visit them because of this decision. That's, I don't know about you, but that's punishable by law in its strongest form. This mob boss that you guys have been building up to be an angel for this whole year, for his political outlook, killed dozens of thousands of people just for his look, just for his ego, just so Donald Trump couldn't get a win. They did the same thing in LA. Nobody went on the ship. Why? What happened there? Weren't you all like, why aren't they putting people on the ship? I wonder. This is pretty odd. Yeah, they're sticking them all in nursing homes so that they could infect everyone around them and kill off all these elderly people. It's disgusting what they did. Let's boil this down a little bit here. Now, as I said, this is breaking news, okay? New allegations of cover up by Cuomo over nursing home virus toll, as we told you all along, was occurring. In a private conversation, the governor's top aide admitted that data was withheld on nursing homes where more than 10,000 New Yorkers have died during the pandemic in those nursing homes alone. The number's higher than that. Is this a new story? This is part of the new story because this is his aide right here. The governor's top aide, okay? At the center of the latest controversy, seated right here next to him. Close confidant. You guys hear about what she did? Let's talk about it. Governor Andrew Cuomo and his administration faced new allegations on Friday. New allegations. New stuff. That they had covered up the scope of the coronavirus death toll in New York's nursing homes after a top aide to the governor admitted that the state had withheld data because it feared an investigation by the Trump Justice Department. Did you guys just hear that? New allegations on Friday. This is the New York Times. Okay, this is not exactly a right-wing leaning newspaper we're talking about here. Okay, we're talking about the New York Times is willing to come out now. We knew this was happening all this time. They said not one word about it. It's in New York. It's the New York Times. Do you think they're going to go against Governor Cuomo unless they absolutely can? They absolutely can now. And his career is destroyed now over this, okay? Let's not get too far ahead. Allegations say on Friday that they had covered up the scope of the coronavirus death toll in New York's nursing homes after a top aide to the governor admitted that the state had withheld data because it feared an investigation about it by the Trump Justice Department because they knew why they were hiding it. They were hiding those numbers. The remarks by the top aide, Melissa DeRosa, made in what was supposed to be a private conference call with Democratic lawmakers. Nice how they posed this for you, right? What was supposed to be a private conference call with Democratic lawmakers, but someone illegally recorded it. They didn't feel that way when they were throwing every single Donald Trump phone conversation out there for the world to hear with the Australian president, the Ukrainian. Every single conversation was supposed to be a private conference call, but they damn sure didn't preface it with these words in front of the sentence they wrote back then for him. But I digress. The remarks by the top aide, Melissa DeRosa, made in what was supposed to be a private conference call with Democratic lawmakers came as a cascading series of news reports and a court order have left Mr. Cuomo, a third-term Democrat, scrambling to contain the political fallout over his oversight of nursing homes where more than 13,000 people have died in the pandemic in the state. Okay, I don't know why we went from 10 to 13 that easy in one story. This is whatever. Lawmakers from both parties have called for stripping the governor of the emergency powers that he has exercised during the pandemic, while Republicans have demanded the resignations of top Cuomo administration officials and new federal investigations to occur. Mr. Rosa's jarring admission came when she was asked about ongoing delays in giving lawmakers nursing home death data. She said that so there are delays in the data coming out, right? And she said that after the Department of Justice requested information last summer, basically we froze. We didn't know what to do. We just kind of froze. At the time, the governor's office was also facing similar requests from the state's legislature. We were in a position where we weren't sure if what we were going to give to the Department of Justice we were in a position where we weren't sure if what we were going to give to the Department of Justice or what we give to you guys, the media, and what we start saying was going to be used against us. And we weren't sure if there was going to be an investigation, possibly, she said during the call. So they froze, they held on to data, they stopped counting the numbers up, and they lied to the media. And the media didn't push them on it when we were all talking about it back then. There was no pushback from leftist pundits, no one bringing it up on Don Lemon's show on a nightly basis. None of that was occurring. The Justice Department never formally opened an investigation, according to Ms. DeRosa. But the intense scrutiny of the governor's record on nursing homes has struck at the core of his carefully cultivated image as a competent chief executive with a deference to facts. That's what he's been built up as. He went so far as to write a damn book. He wrote his memoirs. He wrote a book about his amazing job he did as the governor in the most atrociously affected state in the whole nation, and gloated about himself in a whole series of chapters of make me want to vomit. I have family members, y'all, who have just been all year just gloating about this, who should be our president, man. This guy is and I understand he's got this whole Godfather look going, and it's kind of cool seeming if it was a movie, right? But it's not. Look at this. Just 2 weeks ago, the state's attorney general, Letitia James, who has been an ally of the governor in a damning report, accused the Cuomo administration of undercounting coronavirus-related deaths connected to nursing homes by the thousands. Democrats both in the state Senate and Assembly met privately on Friday last week to discuss whether the legislature should curtail the emergency powers that have allowed the governor to set virus-related restrictions and give him full control over the vaccine rollout. No immediate action was expected. Look at this doofus, man. He defended himself Monday against accusations that his administration covered up the actual COVID-19 death toll among the state's nursing home residents, blaming politics and miscommunication for the controversy. Politics and miscommunication. As we were hitting on it back then, questions were getting put to him. There was plenty of chances for him to communicate the situation. Lack of communication, man. You went up there and did a press conference every damn day for a while there. Anyways, the third-term Democratic governor acknowledged at a press conference that his administration's opacity regarding the scope of coronavirus deaths among residents of long-term healthcare facilities was a mistake. He admitted it was a mistake finally, after saying there's no mistake, because I have another article over here that just says how he said it was no mistake. Cuomo suggested that the state's delay in answering questions about the data from lawmakers and the press had led to a void that was filled with skepticism, cynicism, and conspiracy theories, which furthered confusion. Right. So that lack of communication when you're up there talking to us every single day, completely purposely hiding the information from us, you're wondering why the void that was filled with skepticism, cynicism, and conspiracy theories. In retrospect, should we have given more priority to fulfilling information requests? In my opinion, yes. And I think that's what created the void, eh? Said the governor, who wrote a book last year about managing the COVID-19 pandemic. But do I understand the pressure everyone was under? Yes, of course. Yeah, the pressure that you put them on. There's nothing to investigate here, he says. What's the chance we could watch this video?
You're a former attorney general. If you were in this situation and looked at this fact pattern, would you open an investigation of what has happened so far? And my second part of the question is, do you think that if there wasn't an investigation and the attorney general agreed with everything that you said, that it would help clear the air?
Marsha, I don't think there's anything too clear here. It is a fact that the state legislature did a request. We told them we were not going to address the request at that time, that we were going to honor the DOJ request first. We said that. That's a fact. There's nothing to investigate there.
What?
and then we provided information to DOJ. So there is nothing to investigate. All the numbers we produced were exactly right. We didn't provide all the information that was requested. That did create a void, and misinformation did fill the void. And that misinformation gave people aggravation and confused people who lost a loved one, and allowed.
You contributed to their deaths, Governor Cuomo, Godfather Cuomo. And then we have this story, guys. Look at this ass. Man, look what he's been. Cuomo said he can destroy me. New York Assemblyman alleges governor threatened him over nursing home scandal. Through all this nonsense and trash talk of what a good guy he's been, killing all these innocent people, Donald Trump finally leaves, and finally people are like, okay, I think we're allowed to come out and say things about what's been happening now. I don't know. Let me try. Well, let's look at this little story. This is the newest. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has been pleading with lawmakers for support and even threatening political retribution against Democrats who have criticized him in an aggressive effort to contain political fallout from revelations that his administration had concealed the full extent of nursing home related deaths. Describing an alleged exchange with the governor that has not been previously reported, Democratic Assemblyman Ron Kim told CNN that he received a call on his cell phone from the governor last week as he was bathing his children at home. Governor Cuomo called me directly on Thursday to threaten my career if I did not cover up for Melissa DeRosa and what she said. He tried to pressure me into issuing a statement, and it was a very traumatizing experience, Kim said. Cuomo proceeded to tell the assemblyman that we're in the business together and we don't cross certain lines. And he said I hadn't seen his wrath and that he can destroy me, according to Kim. You can't even tell me that ain't what Andrew Cuomo said. You can't even tell me that that's not exactly what occurred there. Kim, a progressive representing Queens who has been among the most vocal critics of Cuomo's handling of nursing homes during the pandemic and believes his own uncle died from a presumed case of COVID in a nursing home last year, participated in that virtual call. During the meeting, Kim said he called on the governor to apologize to family members of those who died in assisted living facilities. When the New York Post first reported on DeRosa's controversial comments, he was one of the participants quoted in the piece criticizing those remarks. No man has ever spoken to me like that in my entire life, Kim said, the progressive. At some point, he tried to humiliate me, asking, "Are you a lawyer? Are you a lawyer?" I didn't think so. You're not a lawyer. It almost felt like, in retrospect, he was trying to bait me and anger me and say something inappropriate. I'm glad I didn't, he said. Cuomo is running around New York punking people like this, man. I'm telling you right now, the dude's a gangster, and he's got so many ties into that system, I bet you. Ooh, you don't want to, you can see by the words how he's saying it. He speaks like a mob boss. Doesn't he? Mr. Kim's wife told CNN that she had overheard parts of the phone call with Cuomo last week and described the governor as loud and angry. She said she heard Cuomo say, "Who do you think you are?" as well as the words, "my wrath," somewhere in there. And that immediately after the phone call, her husband told her, "The governor threatened to destroy my life." This news wouldn't be coming out if Donald Trump was still president, guys. I'm telling you right now. These are some of the benefits that's going to come in here. And this is what I told you a couple weeks ago. When I said that we can thrive in this is why. Because now we're allowed to, there's no boogeyman there's no orange man in the Oval Office to focus their heat on. So now they got to look elsewhere, and it's all going to come out, and they're going to start eating themselves. They're all eating each other because both positions they all carry are indefensible. They cannot defend feeling this way and this way all at the same time. Here's the other most hated Italian on the planet, And yes, I'm allowed to speak this way, being Italian in one way or another. The two most hated Italians on the planet right now. Here's Mayor de Blasio, who's just as crooked. Mayor de Blasio on Cuomo bullying allegations. That's classic Andrew Cuomo. The mayor joined a growing group of New York Democrats and lawmakers who said that the account from Queens Assemblyman Ron Kim is not unheard of for Cuomo, who has long been known as a political enforcer. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio didn't mince words Thursday morning when asked about allegations that Governor Andrew Cuomo threatened a Queens Assemblyman, saying he believed the charges 100%. Ron Kim says he was yelled at and threatened by Cuomo after criticizing his handling of COVID-19, as we just read. It's a sad thing to say, but that's classic Andrew Cuomo right there. A lot of people in New York State have received those phone calls. Did you hear that? He said, I believe Ron Kim, and it's very, very sad. No public servant, no person who's telling the truth should be treated this way. The threats, the belittling, the demand that someone change their statement right that moment. Many, many times I've heard that, and I know a lot of other people in the state have heard that also from Cuomo. It's just the script. It's exactly what a lot of us have heard before. It's not a surprise. It's sad. He goes around doing this all the time, man. The way they control that narrative with all those news organizations based right there in the heart of New York, you don't think that Governor Cuomo has a way of keeping that message, that narrative flowing in the direction he needs it to flow with a lot of those companies? He did when it was easier when Donald Trump was in there, right? But now you have individuals coming out and exposing things. Some little assemblyman came out and finally has said something. Why was he saying this in October? We all know why. But it says here that many trace the bad blood between the two politicians to a 2015 interview where de Blasio publicly complained that Cuomo was a bully. If someone disagrees with him openly, some kind of revenge or vendetta follows, the mayor said. Well, here it all is in real time happening in front of your faces. You still want him to be your president, guys? Huh? You want him to be De Niro or Pacino? Which one would you prefer? Oh, even Mayor de Blasio is willing to say it. The notion that information was held back for political convenience instead of the blunt truth coming out so we could save lives? Something's profoundly wrong there. You think, you crooked bastard? And now, after all that you just saw, all this has been going on, the evil damn cabal in Hollywood has awarded Andrew Cuomo with the 2020 International Emmy Founders Award for some odd damn reason. Well, they all seem to be into depopulation of Earth, so maybe this was a help in that. I don't know. Look at these discuss. Look at this. After everything we just heard, how do you feel watching this now?
Some of my fellow New Yorkers.
To my governor, the governor of the Empire State, Andrew Cuomo.
Congratulations, Andrew, on your much-deserved Founders Award.
But
Governor Andrew Cuomo, you are the man.
What?
I was trying to think of
That means
something that I
nothing.
could say to you
Was she texting that?
would be funny, and so I called your brother Chris, who could not understand why you were getting an Emmy since he's the one on television.
I can't understand it either.
Your daily briefings live from New York.
We're hiding your information.
Gave us the truth and gave us something that
Clarity,
we're not getting from
the
Washington.
truth.
Leadership.
Getting clarity and truth.
Cuomo became the nation's
What?
governor. People across the country tuned into his press conferences every day.
Daily, I was watching his press conferences.
And he lied to you every time.
Informing us.
Lied.
Telling us what to do.
And he also
Lied
said
to you
that,
about what to do
now
and what
that
he's
you're the
doing.
Love Gov, you've kind of transcended politics, and now you're just part of really more, you're more of like a national sex symbol. He says you'll probably get more dates than votes. That's him saying that, not me.
You did your thing during COVID. New York was suffering. We were the epicenter. We were all in a crisis, in a panic, and every single day you came on the airways and you offered your strength, your leadership, and your direction, and your caring, and your heart.
You are the epitome.
Did she say you're hot? And you're hot. Oh, your heart, baby. He gave you his heart.
Your strength, your leadership and your direction and your caring and your heart.
And
You
you're
are the
hot?
epitome of New York tough.
I can't take this shit anymore, man. They are all together on this, man. Wow, after everything that we know now, I wonder how they feel. I wonder what they would say about it. What do you want to bet they defend him? I bet you $100 they defend everything that he's done. The lying was for a reason. He had to lie to us. It wasn't okay for Donald Trump to lie to us to keep from national concerns over boiling over. But Governor Cuomo, because there's a D next to his name, we should definitely allow it. I allow it. This is the guy you were all jocking. This shady grease ball of a character is the guy that you guys were all hoping would be our president next. Wishing he would be able to. I mean, remember at the point in time when we thought that, they're gonna get Joe Biden in there, he's gonna croak, and then they're gonna stick Andrew Cuomo in his place and be like, "This is the new president." Skip Kamala Harris all over. They'll make him the vice president maybe so that he can get his run. Man, this is a bunch of shady posturing that's going on, and this is the grease ball that you guys have all been praising all this time. I'm going to leave you with this video of him from back, a few months ago, way back in the Wayback Machine, when he was selling like a damn used car salesman hand sanitizer. I want us all just to remember, even at the time, I was saying what a scuzz bucket this dude was, and I have family members just posting just glowing reviews of him all day, every day with his daily press conferences that he was lying to you in. Let's remember this fabulous moment. This guy's gross.
Curtain, please.
Curtain, please.
We are introducing
Wow.
New York State Clean hand sanitizer.
There's people laughing at him.
Made conveniently by the state of New York. This is a superior product.
He's a salesman.
Now on the market.
He's doing a commercial for it. It's a superior product.
The World Health Organization, CDC, all those people suggest 60% alcohol content. Purell, competitor to New York State Clean, 70% alcohol. This is 75% alcohol. It also comes in a variety of sizes. It has a very
We're in the middle of a pandemic. Remember that, guys. Watch this.
floral bouquet.
Is that lilac?
A little I detect a lilac,
Oh, hydrangea.
tulips. What does it
Tulips.
smell
Smell my finger in the middle of a pandemic, Bob.
Yes. Floral
You
bouquet.
fucking idiot.
Making it in the state of New York. Corecraft actually is making it for the state. We'll be
He's making
providing this to
prisoners
government
make it.
agencies, schools, the MTA, prisons, etc. Because you can't get it on the market, and when you get it, it's very, very expensive.
Because it's such a great product, guys. I mean, we make top-notch stuff around here, so don't even get it twisted, okay? Oh, I want to ask my beautiful, loving family members, how do you feel about Andrew Cuomo today, guys? Let me know. Drop me a note. Please tell me you watched this and you got the full story on what Andrew Cuomo's been doing to us for the last year. Okay? Drop me a note. Give me a comment on how you feel about Andrew Cuomo now. Say, hey, I'm kind of cool with it still. I would still love for him to be president one day. I don't think I'm going to hear any of that, but I would love to. So please drop that comment in there for me if that's how you feel today. Please think about giving me a like on the video, maybe share a video or two out there. Help me spread this message. I know a lot of you have been lately, and you can see it in the numbers. It's really taking off in a slow, very drawn out way, but it's coming along. So I thank you guys for all the support and help that you give me in this, and the tips and the comments and the likes and the subscriptions and the shares. We need them. Help me to get this message out there, all right? Thank you, everyone, and have a great weekend.